So there would be. So what I'm saying is okay. So let's talk about Mary, okay? This married person is also a manager of like 3 people, for example. Okay. So there will be 3 certifications for that, because he has to confirm these 3 people still report to him. Yeah. So there will be 3 certification for Mary. Now, if we have 2 people, I think Vinay, you are thinking for each identity, 1 certification will be triggering. Is that what you're thinking? This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, because you mentioned. Otherwise, I think only 4 certifications should be there. So we are going to trigger only 1 certification for a manager. Access review is different thing. Access review? It's like a work item. No, not access review. Okay, let's not talk of a number. Let's say, for example, let me speak. We have everything in front of it. 1A is, who is 1A? I forgot the name of that one person. James Smith. So first certification will say James Smith has to confirm whether Mary still reports to James Smith. Perfect. Yeah. The other one. Can you go back to sheet, please? Yeah, sure. Other one would say, DRC still belongs to James Smith. John still belongs to James Smith. Patricia still belongs to James Smith. These 4 to confirm. I understand. What's the 5th one? Now tell me. Okay, so these 4 people reporting to him, right? So 1 access review will be generated. Let me open the James Smith access review. So, if I'm going to open this James Smith, he's a manager. He's a manager. For people are reporting to him. So in that scenario, what will happen? He has to validate only for 4 people. For people access. Okay, so he has to validate. DRC John Williams, Mary Johnson, Patricia. These 4 people. Go to the spreadsheet. Okay, so these 4 people access. He needs to validate. Okay, perfect. One thing, 1 access review is clear. The same for Mary Johnson. Since Mary Johnson is a manager, some people are already reporting to him. In that scenario, for Mary Johnson also, 1 access review will be generated separately. So that's what I'm trying. Okay, now I'm following. Yeah, okay. So let me open for Mary Johnson, since he's a manager in our system. So initially I thought if I'm going to select only James Smith, then 1 access review will be generated, but it's not the case. So let me select for Mary Johnson. But this is I'm understanding what you're saying, but logically it looks like. Why are we? We didn't ask for the certification for the subordinates. Why is it triggering it? I mean, because I know why this has been set up like this. Okay, so in that scenario I'm also not sure. Okay, I'm not familiar with certification. Yesterday, I have checked and it came to no. So whenever you're going to trigger manager certification, it will trigger for manager and his subordinate as well. Subordinate should be manager. The condition is subordinate, has to be manager. Then only it will trigger for them. Or else if they are a user, then it won't trigger for them. Access review won't generate for them. So whenever a certification is generated, it is generated for the manager as well as team members also. Right, so I have opened one application on a certification. So I need to validate for one application. Let's say Active Directory. Quickly I'll show. So meanwhile, let me open Active Directory as well. This is Active Directory. No, this is Windows Server where I have installed Active Directory. Okay, cool. So I'm going to trigger certification to validate all Active Directory users. I'm not going to select any or all application. Let me click on Run. Now it's going to execute. I'm going to validate only for accounts. I'm not going to check any groups or nothing. Only accounts I'm going to execute include policy violation. You can do it. So let me quickly execute what will happen. So we have application called Active Directory. Already we have discussed about application with the same name, but we have a different name. So for one application owner. Who is going to be the application owner? So for one application owner will be there. In that scenario, one access review will be generated. So quickly I'll open this application. Owner certification. So only one access review will be generated because, since we selected only one application owner will be there. So application owner is SP admin. If you want, you can go ahead and check. We'll verify. Okay, so we have a new application. Okay, it will take time to. Let me open this Active Directory application. So just refresh this page. Only one access review will be generated. Apart from that, any type of certification you are going to trigger, for one manager, one access review will be generated. For one application owner, one access review will be generated. For one role owner, one access review will be generated. That's the concept. Is it clear, Vinay? Yeah. So say again, for when we are doing the account certification for every role. I mean all kind of certification is gonna. All kind of certification is gonna throw, is it? Yeah, no. Let me put it in a way. Anyhow, your aim is to trigger any certification. You are going to validate. That high-level aim is, you need to validate right for users. How many managers will be there? For all managers, access review will be generated. One thing. If you have selected 3 applications to validate, in that scenario, 3 application owners will be there, right? So 3 access reviews will be generated. Okay. So let's say I'm going to trigger certification related to roles. Role owner certification if I'm going to trigger. In that scenario, if I pick 10 roles and all 10 role owners are different, in that scenario, what will happen? 10 access reviews will be generated. Access review is different. Certification is different. Certification. One certification you are going to trigger in that you are going to select 10 roles, which means 10 access review will be generated if all role owner is different.